Iran is in the grip of another nationwide unrest, said to be the worst since the 2022 protests, which broke out following the death in custody of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini over alleged improper coverage of her head. Donald Trump has warned of stepping in if the protesters are harmed, prompting Tehran to issue its own ultimatums. A tenuous situation is developing. And to talk about it, we have with us D.P. Srivastav, former Indian ambassador to the Islamic Republic of Iran. Good evening to you, Ambassador. What do you make of the situation in Iran? The Arab Spring was there. We had the Mahsa Amini protests as well. This time around, the trigger is different. It's for economic reasons. But do you think there's a lot of pent-up anger there which is spilling out to the streets day after day?
I think, well, thank you for having me on your program. We have to look at Iran's situation in the regional context. It's not a standalone situation. And you have to go back to events of October 2023 and what happened thereafter. Iran was attacked, and it was attacked just at the time when it had resumed negotiations with America on its nuclear program. Now, this was followed by reimposition of sanctions under old nuclear deal signed in 2015, went into effect in 2016. It was America which walked out of the nuclear deal in 2018, and Europe never implemented its part of the obligations. So you have a situation where external sanctions on an oil exporting country has throttled its economy. And there maybe also internal mismanagement issues. But, if you remove the main source of income, there's not much left to manage. So Iranian currency has collapsed. There has been runaway inflation. There are estimates it's about 50%. Currency, it had dropped its value by 70%. And that has brought people on the streets. Now, the danger in this situation is that if this continues and there's talk of war, President Trump has said that in case Iran does not stop its ballistic missile program, there may be an attack. He added that in case of it continues with the nuclear program, there will be an immediate attack. Now, the fact is that the missile issue was not part of the nuclear deal. So somebody has moved the goalpost. Now, in case there is a war, the immediate impact will be on oil prices, and that will also affect India. Oil prices, there's a welcome downward trend. Oil prices have come down from more than $70 a barrel to around $60 a barrel in past 6 months. And if this trend is reversed, this will have an effect on the world economy, including India. And let's remember that $1 increase in oil, $1 per barrel increase in oil price translates into something like 14,000 crores increase in India's annual oil import bill. Now, the last part, and this is why I said we have to keep the regional context in mind. What are the charges against Iran? Allegedly, it's nuclear program, and now the additional thing, this is the missile program. And you look at its next door neighbor, Pakistan, and India has been a victim of terrorism, and Pakistan was awarded by giving it IMF assistance in the midst of Operation Sindoor of $1.4 billion. And you have to bear in mind that both Al-Qaeda and ISIS leaders had an organic link with Pakistan. Al-Qaeda leader Mullah Omar taught at Binori Mosque in Karachi. And Zarqawi, who was one of the figures who inspired ISIS, he learned his tricks of trade in Pakistan. So Pakistan is being rewarded and Iran is being punished. If the war actually takes place, there will be impact on the entire region and the world economy.
But do you think that things will come to such a pass? Because already you have President Pezeshkian saying that the government should apportion blame to itself as well, apart from, I mean, not just blame external factors. So there might be some course correction internally, and it's an open question as to whether Iran can really manage the situation by itself without, help in terms of, these revocation of these sanctions at least.
Well, the Iranian government has taken a reconciliatory position, which is very welcome, and they should also look at turn the torchlight inside. But this is not all what the Iranian government or President Pezeshkian have been saying, because they have also been talking about the Western countries going back on their commitment in the nuclear deal. There's a letter by Iran to the UN Security Council expressing their apprehension about again being subjected to an external war.
Right. Do you feel that Donald Trump could carry out his warning that if the protesters are harmed, that American troops or American forces in some manner will be used to rescue them? He's already stirring up things in Latin America, with Venezuela. Do you feel that another conflict is something that the people in the US will welcome?
Well, I won't like to make a comment on US foreign policy, but the fact remains that US has not committed ground troops in wars in the Middle East, even when its close allies like Saudi Arabia and UAE were targeted by drone attacks, missile attacks. Saudi Arabia in 2019 and 3 years later UAE, when Abu Dhabi base was airport was bombed. So it's unlikely that they are going to commit ground troops to save Iranian protesters. But yes, the statements are likely to continue in order to keep the pot boiling.
Right. And in terms of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei himself, he's been around and weathered multiple storms, the war with Iraq, the Arab Spring, the protests after Mahsa Amini's death. Do you feel that he could come up with solutions to this issue as well, or do you feel that this time things might go out of hand?
If you have lost something like 70 to 80% of your government revenues, or a larger portion of your foreign exchange earnings, Iran is dependent on oil exports, and that has been throttled. I don't think there's any internal management which can reverse the situation. Whether the government will be able to, the question remains whether government will be able to meet the minimum requirements of the people. The people must have food to eat. And there are obviously internal issues. If whether the supreme leader, or for that matter, Iranian government, President Pezeshkian, can address those within very severe constraints, financial constraints, which I have mentioned, that remains to be seen.
All right. So, serious questions to be answered there for the regime in Tehran. Let's see if they can find any solutions, or the protests continue and they have their own consequences. Thanks a lot for joining us for the moment, Ambassador Shrivastava.